Good morning, everyone. So, I am not your speaker who should have been here today. I am filling in for our beloved Reverend Melissa, and happy to do it. So when she reached out to me, she said, well, the CSLs all over today are going to be speaking about carrying our doubt together. She said, you could talk about that or you can talk about something else. And I thought, oh no, doubt's something I happen to know a lot about. So I thought, that's perfect. Half of the work is already done for me. So doubt can isolate us when hidden, but transform us when it's in shared loving community. In New Thought, we often emphasize faith, vision, affirmation, and possibility. But authentic spiritual life also includes uncertainty, questioning, grief, and not yet knowing. Perhaps divine doubt is not the opposite of faith. Perhaps it is a doorway into a deeper, more mature faith. The great Buddhist author Pema Chodron said, doubt is not an obstacle to the path. It is part of the path. And sometimes when we don't realize that and we have doubt, we think that we're doing it wrong, or we think that there's something off about us when actually it is a part of the growth process. So I think it's important that we reframe doubt, not as spiritual weakness. Many spiritual traditions honor questioning. Thomas doubted, Job questioned, and mystics to this very day have entered the dark night of the soul. I have been through a couple myself. Transformation begins with disorientation. How could it not when we are changing and moving and growing beyond what we are right now in the here and now into a greater becoming? Of course we're going to be going into the unknown. Of course it's going to be disoriented. It really is a part of all of creation. For those of you that are artists or songwriters, you know that process of having a vision and then starting to put it into motion and all of the challenges that you come across in that creative process. And there's times that can halt us from creating what we are here to do. But if we know that it's a part of how it works, then it's easier to hold tight as we move through this. Doubt may have a really good purpose because it can interrupt false certainty. It can soften our ego control, and it can open us to deeper truth. Certainty can close the mind. Holy curiosity keeps the soul awake. So I had a recent experience of this. A year ago, I had one of my greatest traveling trips to Europe that I had ever had. But when I returned, I immediately got sick. And what started as bronchitis turned into pneumonia, and I was sick for 5 months. As a self-employed person and a speaker and someone who talks for a living, not being able to speak came with a lot of challenges. And so when I had an opportunity to go back to Europe the same time of year and to spend time with many of the same people that I had spent last year, I said yes, but I had my doubts. Because the truth is that I have not fully recovered from that illness. My lung capacity is not the same. My energy level is not the same. And I'm not in the shape that I was a year ago. And so I said yes because my heart said yes. And then I went about doubting the entire experience, as we often do. Any mothers in the room? So I was filled with doubt, and it was the week before I was leaving, and I was completely overwhelmed. I was going to be in the Netherlands, where I had been before, and Serbia, a country I had not been before. I had different climates, different outfits that I needed, and in that overwhelm, I thought, oh, I should have done travel insurance. I really wish I could just cancel this whole thing and not go. But out of that, a friend contacted me, a world traveler, and she said, let me come over on Saturday. And so she showed up a couple of days before my trip with this enormous bag of travel-sized toothpaste and toothbrushes and masks and all of these things that I could need. And she spent the day with me going through my outfits and what I was bringing. And in that, the doubt began to dissipate because I shared it with someone else. And I shared it when I had the courage to say to her, when she asked me, aren't you so excited about your trip? I had the courage to say, no. I don't even know why I agreed to do this in the first place. What was I thinking? And so I went on the trip, and it was challenging on my physical body. There were times I did 20,000 steps in a day. I don't know how far that is. What I can say to you is it's far. It's a lot of walking with cobblestones and up and down stairs and on and off public transportation and too heavy of a suitcase, but I just can't change that much. So while I was there and went to Serbia, I was spending time with my mentor and a group of other people that do similar work to what I do, and I felt numb. And in that experience, I thought, wow, I don't feel the way that I thought I was going to feel. And a friend texted me and said, what's going on? And again, I had the courage to say, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I don't feel the way that I thought that I was going to. I don't know what I am doing here. And she said, Kris, you can't do it wrong. And as soon as she said that, all my preconceived notions about what was supposed to unfold fell off of my shoulders, and I stayed in the present moment, and I got exactly what I needed. But it only happened because I had stopped saying, I'm good, I'm fine, everything's fine. Everyone on that journey knew I wasn't fine. But when I was holding a plate at the lunch line, didn't seem like a great time to open up and bare my soul. So when someone, the next 100th person said to me, are you okay? How are you doing? Are you okay? And I thought, why do they keep asking me how I'm doing? Because it was obvious that I wasn't. But in that way that friend reached out to me, that was a safe space for me to open up. And as soon as I opened up, I was unburdened. Because that's the thing about doubt. It's extremely isolating, and sometimes we isolate because we have fear of judgment, or that we're going to disappoint others, or that we'll appear unspiritual, or someone may say something like, just think positively about that. That's sometimes the worst thing to say in a moment of vulnerability. Many people sit in spiritual communities silently carrying grief, fear, questions, exhaustion, and uncertainty while smiling through the affirmations. We've got to pivot. Healing begins when community is a safe space for radical honesty. And the irony of it all, if you believe in a higher power beyond our understanding, if you believe in the connectivity of all life, that life is all knowing. It already knows exactly how you are. And so it's important that we don't become performative in our spirituality, that we bring our radical rawness and realness to the most primary relationship that we have, which is with our higher power. Because that part of all of life already knows Who are we performing for? It's already known. And the truth is that in our spiritual awakening, we sometimes forget our humanness. We sometimes forget the part of us that we are here to grow through. It's important that we recognize the way our nervous systems interact with us, and that in all of this, we know who we truly, truly are. Community has always helped humanity to survive. We grew up in a tribal culture where people shared food, protected one another, soothed and raised the children together, grieved, healed, and celebrated together. So that we're living at a time of unprecedented isolation, then this is our sacred duty, is to reach out to another and to form and link arms and hands to remember our inherent connection and know that we are all here on purpose for a purpose. Maybe it's to heal the divide. Perhaps we are designed not only for an individual awakening, but for a shared regulation, a shared courage, and a shared compassion. Love is not only an emotion, it is a biological experience of safety. Our ancestors survived through connection, and our bodies still remember that. Today, when people feel emotionally abandoned or disconnected, the nervous system can react as though survival itself is threatened. And if you think for just a moment, you'll see examples of this in our everyday lives. You see it in the people that are falling apart online at the grocery store. We see it in the road rage that's happening in the cars. We see it everywhere. And yet, what happens with nervous system regulation is that when we are in a place of safety and peace, we bring that into every environment, and we invite other people to silently connect with us, to be with us, and to align themselves to where we are. And so, during Mental Health Awareness Month, know ways to bring that sense of safety to this nervous system. Learn ways to bring that peace to your heart, to your digestive system, to your brain and your brainstem. And then embody that and bring that everywhere you go. That is the way that we be the peace. Not just through our thoughts, but through the energy that we are emitting out. We've heard some beautiful songs and even sharing with our candles today about what happens when we come together to be there and love and support one another. It's going to take the middle-aged and older people to do it, because our younger folks have grown up in an era of technology in which they may not be aware what community even is. And so in that way, we offer something that is absolutely vital. The old ways, the ancient ways of coming together. Don't ever underestimate the value that you have and what you bring with the wisdom that is contained within our cellular memory. And when we come into an environment where there is even collective doubt, let us be the ones that meet that with compassion. Let us be the ones that meet that with hope and possibility, with holding space for all of it to be here. That's the thing about the nervous system. When someone is going through a traumatic experience, how it becomes lodged in the tissues of the body is when that person did not receive support. It is not about the traumatic experience itself. There's been multiple studies that have confirmed this. It is how much support did that person have while they were going through that. It could be pulling over on the side of a car accident and holding a hand before anyone else has gotten there. You don't even have to know the person. They have shown that when someone has had support at the point of an accident, those people have a higher survival rate and heal more quickly. And so I just want to say, we were never designed for isolation. Human beings regulate, heal, endure, and thrive through connection. And each and every one of us has the knowledge within this. We get to bring it to our own doubts, and we get to bring it into the doubts of others. The power of wherever two or more are gathered. What wisdom there is in that. Thank you.